All right, ladies and gentlemen, this video is about free energy and the energy organisms use to survive. And what you need to have out is either a blank piece of paper or a whiteboard so that you can write down your ideas. All right, so the first thing I want you to write down and kind of express some ideas on is the difference between glucose and ATP. So what I want you to do on your piece of paper is I want you to make a two-column chart, one that says glucose and one that says ATP. And I want you to write down everything you know about glucose and everything you know about ATP. And if this is the first time you're doing this video, you might not know a whole lot. But the more times you watch this video and go over it and review, the better you're going to get with this. So pause the video now and write down everything you know about those two. All right, so let's talk about the two. So for glucose, what we need to understand is this is the food that everything uses, okay? And glucose is a carbohydrate, and it's really good at storing energy, a large amount of energy in a very stable way. We know that it's a carbohydrate, and its formula is C6H12O6. So we're going to be talking a lot about glucose during this chapter. Now, ATP, on the other hand, is a smaller amount of energy. Okay, it's more of an immediate energy, and we use this as energy for our cells. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second as well. This is not a carbohydrate. ATP is a type of nucleic acid. So what's the difference here? Why do we have these two different types of energy? Well, glucose is great for moving energy into the organism. It stores it in a very good way. However, it's too much energy for the cell. The cells can't use it. So what cells do and what your body does is it converts glucose into ATP. For every one glucose, we can make 38 ATP molecules. Okay, now glucose and ATP, we see the differences here structurally. If we take a look at ATP, it stands for adenosine triphosphate, and all of the energy is stored in this very final bond on those last phosphates. So let's take a look further into ATP. So in your body, you currently have two things, ADP and ATP. What I want you to do is pause the video and kind of write down the differences between ADP and ATP. All right, so hopefully this is what you came up with. ADP is adenosine diphosphate. The di refers to the idea that there are two phosphoruses on the end. Di means two. In ATP, there is 1, 2, 3 phosphoruses on the end. Adenosine triphosphate, tri means 3. ADP is a very low energy molecule, where ATP is a very high energy molecule. Another way to look at it is like this. Here we have ATP on the right, and because it has that extra bond on it, remember chemical bonds store energy, it has lots of energy stored in it. Where ADP on the left doesn't have the extra bond. It only has 2 phosphorus. So it stores considerably less energy. Now, how do these two things work together? In your body right now, you have lots of ADP. And when you eat some food, the glucose in that food has energy in it. Your body takes the energy from that glucose and stores it into ATP. And it stores that energy in the final chemical bond right here. So ADP gets turned into ATP. So we add a phosphorus, and the energy for that chemical bond comes from the food that you eat. When your cells are ready to use the energy, this bond is broken, and ATP releases the energy, the phosphorus also leaves, and ATP is turned back into ADP. Now these ADPs can be recharged, right? They can be recharged with the food that you eat. So it's a cycle that goes through. All right, so if this is all kind of foreign to you, you want to make sure that you go back through this video several times and make sure you really understand the difference between glucose and ATP and the ATP-ADP cycle.